Hello everyone, this is Joanna the Median. Thank you so much for coming back. And for those who of you who are new, thank you so much for joining, and I hope you like what you see. This is going to be your June forecast. I hate the word forecast because I don't predict per se. Your June reading, intuitive reading, let's put it that way. An exciting month. I feel there's a lot of changes we're all going through, and I've been seeing that from you as well. Bear in mind, these are general readings, which means they will not connect with everyone. If it did, I don't think that's even possible. They do, interestingly, connect with a lot of you. Pieces may connect with you, some pieces may not. It may not connect with you one day and totally connect with you a day later or a week later. So do listen to this whenever you listen first and then at the end of the month, because they do make much more sense. Also, because these are general, listen to it to the other signs, your moon sign and your rising sign, as well as sun sign, because they will offer you a lot more information oftentimes. And of course, these are general, like I mentioned, so it's impossible for me to cover everybody. And if you would like a private session, that information is down below for you. I decided to do Uranus readings, so I will be doing those within the next couple of weeks. I will let you know when they are done, and I will focus on the entire 7 years of what we can expect for each sign, and that's how my guides are asking me to present this. So it'll be a big picture. So stay tuned. I will be announcing when that will be ready. And I think that's all I have. Have yourself a wonderful month of June. For those of you who have birthdays in June, happy birthday. And without further ado, let's move on with individual signs. I'll see you in a bit. Hello, beautiful Leos. This is going to be a reading for the month of June 2018. I like to go through the channeled information first. All right. When I connected with your energy, I felt this excitement, but at the same time, I felt a sense of nervousness. They showed me an image that is the same as saying, it's time to move on. It's time to move on to new advancements, to new way of thinking, to new way of believing, to new areas in your life, physically, financially, emotionally. It's time to move on. There seems to be a bit of, regret with what it is. Now, let me just tap into what that might be. Wishing it would have worked out. So some of you are definitely moving on from something. A lot of it has to do with stability, and the channel information actually beautifully corresponds to the cards that I put out later. So that was shown to me right off the bat. Moving on. Not a bad thing. There is, for some of you, there will be a bit of maybe a bit of sadness, wishing it would have worked out. Is it something that they're already aware of? Oh yes, he says. So this is something that is not going to be sprung up on you. This is something that you are well aware of. I also saw the Magician, which is all about manifestation. It's about directing energies in a particular area in order to get back the results that you are desiring, and therefore perhaps you're needing to move on because it is a time of new beginnings for many of you. I also saw that you are actively pursuing other alternatives or other opportunities. This could be financial opportunities because there's some regrets around the ones you are currently in or ones that have happened in the past. This is about partnership opportunities, financially, work-wise, or personally speaking. This could be investment opportunities. Opportunities and alternatives were being shown to me as you pursuing them actively. Could be you looking for a job and you're moving. You're sending your resumes out. So that's an example. I also saw that something happens in the month of June, thereabouts, that is going to make you stop and think. And when I said, what are they going to think about? The question I heard was, why am I doing this? So expect something to happen in the month of June or thereabouts. I want to say within the 6 weeks period, where something is where you're going to stop and you're going to go, why am I doing this? And perhaps this is probably most likely tied to you moving on. So very, very clearly that was presented. I saw a lot of light bulb moments, which is ideas, clarity, ability to see bigger, better, clearly, and being able to see clearly. I saw that some of you were choosing not to see it at all, and I hear the word denial, and I also hear the words, that's a mistake. So for those of you who are sitting on something that is not working out and has not been for a while, and I feel like I've given this message to another sign, so it might be one of your other signs. If you're in a position or financially stuck, or if you are in a relationship where things are not working out, if you get light bulb moments and start to see clearly, but then choose not to see it, then according to my sources, that would be a mistake. And he's kind of smiling and saying, it would be like a warning to you. In other words, things are moving, and things are moving fast and furious in our world. Our energy is changing and shifting with the new energies. Our power of manifestation is that much greater, which also means in many ways faster. So being stuck in a situation where it's stagnant, that's not allowing you to grow, and you being mindful of it and choosing not to do anything about it often results later on in the universe gently giving you a bit of a push. So I kind of want to present it that way, because I feel some of you need to look at something that you are choosing not to see, and it's actually replicated in a card several times. So it's a huge message here. I also saw for some of you, there was going to be a growth, financial growth. For some of you, there is a pregnancy that's being shown, but growth, expansion. And that's one of the other cards you have as well. Lots of opportunities for growth. I also saw that you are being protected, and this protection is connected to sustainability. So sustainability is anything that allows you to continue moving on and being sustained. So that's financial, that's emotional, spiritual, certainly mental. For some of you, you might be looking at change of career. For some of you, you are choosing to plug your energies into other things. So that's also sustainability, and how we are energetically sustained is very important. And then I saw some of you on a treadmill. So there's few feelings I got from it. Number one, the obvious, some of you need more cardio, exercise. For some of you, I felt that whatever you're doing right now, and it could be in this situation you're choosing not to see, you're moving and moving and moving and moving, and what you think you are moving, yet you're not moving at all. In other words, things are constantly, you feel like you are doing things, you feel like you are doing what's required, yet you're not moving, you're stuck. So that's a similar message to avoiding seeing the obvious here, whatever that is to you, whatever that means to you in your particular life. The numbers around you are 4 and 0. So that's all about stability. That's brand new. 0 is chances. It's brand new beginnings. So is the Magician, which is manifestation. But there's an air of new energy, and it's all to do with fundamentals. How we think, how we believe, on what I just lost the train of the thought that I was going to say. The structure that your relationship is built upon, structures, you know what I'm trying to say. So this is a time of shifting and changing how you do things in this world. Okay, let's move on. For some of you, there was a hesitation to move on. I saw that. And when I asked for focus, they said the word imagination and to see things clearly. So for many of you, you need to decide what it is that you want, and you need to actively pursue imagining it, that it gives you a certain feeling. And that will eventually allow you to see things clearly with regards to where you're going and where you should be going. Now, 3 focus cards, 4 came up, and I left it because I was asked to leave it. So I just kind of listened. So I don't have regular spreads. The first focus point is poised in protection position. What this is essentially saying to me is that if there is something you are moving towards or want to move towards, you are not quite ready. This could be several things. This is you somebody wanting something from you as far as a commitment, and there is something within you that you just feel is not ready. And it is important for you to be true and honest about it, rather than disappointing somebody else in the process down the road. So, and actually, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to jump into this next card. You do have truth be told in protection, which is about what are you choosing not to see? What are you choosing not to see in yourself? And what are you choosing not to see outside of you? It seems to have to do with a relationship or with a union. Now, a couple of things about this. So I'm seeing this as a story. If somebody is wanting you to commit to something, particularly long term, you may not be ready to do that. If you are wanting to commit to something financially or otherwise, in other words, there's some sort of responsibility, it feels you're not ready to do that yet. So it kind of goes both ways. And in order to figure out whether you are ready or not ready, you have to actively pursue what's going on inside you. In other words, you have to be honest with yourself. So that the message of honesty is coming up, not because you are lying or you are being dishonest, but because you may be holding aspects of you back from expressing for whatever reason, because oftentimes you don't want to disappoint people. This is not one of those times to do this, okay? So very, very important. Also, if there is some important decision that you are looking at or contemplating, take your time and make sure whatever choice you make, it comes from a solid place of knowing the reason why you do want to be here, why you want to be there, why you're choosing what you're choosing. Hugely, hugely important. So that's what I see as a story. Then I asked for other cards, and you have the Gazelle. So Gazelle is all about vulnerability. So you can see where this is heading. Many of you need to decide to allow yourself to be vulnerable with you first. In other words, you need to be able to see yourself clearly in order to be able to decide what is best for you. And when we choose not to see things and we expect things to manifest in a different way, then we have a bit of a problem. In other words, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you first need to understand within yourself the reason why. Because if you don't understand the reason why, chances is whatever you are after is not going to satisfy you long term anyway, because you are effectively not addressing the real issue. That is what I want to say. I know that's a huge whole bunch of words, but I believe this will mean to you if you're meant to hear it. Another message you have is observer in reverse, in protection position. So what this is saying here is it's time to expand your view of the world. It's time to look at the different alternatives. It's time to ask for someone to give you a different perspective. In other words, don't be stuck in your old ways of thinking and expect some other results to follow. In other words, if you've always done what you've always done, you will always receive what you've always received as a result. So that is huge. So there's a message here of, again, don't be stuck in your old ways, and don't say you're not seeing things because you do not want to see them. Hugely, hugely important. And vulnerability has a lot to do with it. You have the owl. Well, owl is all about wisdom. So this wise creature is coming forward in order to say, listen to your higher power. Listen to your inner guidance. Listen to your wisdom. Owls are at their best in the night, which means they have incredibly sharp vision. So what this is asking you to do, it's asking you to see yourself clearly first before you can see clearly things you're trying to deal with. In other words, if you have no awareness of what's going on within you, it's going to be very difficult to effectively deal with what is in front of you. Hugely important. There's a desire and ambition for many of you to be greater than you currently are, but you need to ask yourself the question, why is that so important? Is it important because I want to try different things, or is it important because I am fundamentally lacking? And that would be the vulnerability component as well. So some important questions for you to ask, including, why am I doing this, right? So this is kind of all coming together. So then I asked for some tarot cards. A whole bunch of cards came up, and I asked for clarification because I actually wasn't sure what this was about. So you have the Queen of Wands, you have Page of Wands in reverse, and you also have Judgment. And I asked for clarification. So what I got here is, for a lot of you, this is around a career or a relationship that is coming to an end, or should be coming to an end, or it's at its final destination, so to speak. But it may not be something that you want. In other words, again, there's a feeling of perhaps needing to address something with a person in your life who is most likely a fire sign, or a situation that represents your passion. Okay, this could be a lover, or it could be anything, and something needing to come to an end, of a cycle, but you are refusing to part with it. This could also be how you see yourself in terms of your abilities, in terms of who you are as a person, and holding on to old ideas and an old way of thinking and believing will certainly not allow you to move forward. Now, because this Wheel of Fortune is coming up, which does symbolize there is completion, chances are that whatever I was talking about moving on and these two cards are virtually the same thing. So there's a need for you to let go of something you may have passionately been holding on to, but it's not giving you what you need. Then you have the Page of Wands in reverse, and you have the Judgment. So I feel this all kind of connected. So this is again coming to a place of total completion. Judgment is a finality, but it's not because it's a bad finality. It's an end. Again, it's putting an end to a situation that either felt unjust, felt unbalanced, and just needed to be closed. The Wheel of Fortune to me also symbolizes something very karmic. So many of you are coming to a point of your life where, karmically speaking, you are moving on and needing to let go of the old ways, which is why it's important for you to address certain things that you may not be seeing or not be wanting to see. And then you have the Chariot in reverse. And what this is telling me is that, and I want to say financially speaking, for a lot of you, if things have not been going on the way you wanted to, or things have been kind of not really moving and you kind of felt not in control, perhaps it's because you need to look at this situation and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I still here? What is this giving me? And then I said, okay, what is the advice? You have the Three of Wands, and what I hear is move on. And this is not a bad thing. Again, you have the card, you have the Magician, the manifestation. This is all about brand new beginnings. This is all about brand new ways of seeing yourself. This can, of course, be career, love. It could be your entire life. But this is about looking at other opportunities because you are in a place of expansion. So you're growing. Effectively, we're all growing every single day. But there's a movement forward here, and you needing to choose and decide because you are ready for more. So this also to me symbolizes imagination. I think that was one of the words that was given to me. You looking at possibilities and deciding for yourself, what do I want next? What do I want more of? What do I want to create going forward? Huge component. Let me just see if there's anything else here. I'm seeing huge dollar signs. So for many of you, this is going to be around stability. Financial stability, security at home, financial security at work, your finances in general, your homes, structures. Number 4 is also about stability. So there's an opportunity here to start something fresh and start something new. But what I do want to stress here is this is time for you to be vulnerable, to allow yourself to be vulnerable, because when you're not, you are wasting precious time and energy and effort in order to try to prevent from things from happening. So if you're always on alert, if you're always on the lookout for what is going to go wrong next, you can't effectively relax and enjoy your life. And this is coming from ways that you were either brought up, you have learned through some of your behaviors, whatever it is. It's time for you to move to a greater level of wisdom, and wisdom always comes from within. Okay, I think that's all I have. Number 7 is being shown to me. That's the month of July, and you guys have birthdays in July, of course, so happy birthday to you for those of you who are in July. And 7 is also number of, I want to say, creativity. That's interesting. The 3 of Wands is for sure creativity, but the 7 is being shown to me symbolically as a time where you are able to gain a lot of clarity. I see light bulb going on, and I think I mentioned that already at the beginning. So that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. If this makes no sense to you at the beginning, which probably won't, listen to it at the end of the month. Obviously, this is general reading, so it won't apply to everybody, and not all of it will apply to you. But bits and pieces often do, as you say to me. And that's all I have. And yes, if you would like a private session, of course, that information is down below for you. I wish you a wonderful month of June. Take care of yourself, and I speak to you soon.